Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the previous class, we discussed about risk and return. Today, we are going to start bond and its valuation. First of all, what is a bond? You people know about this, that what is a bond. We already discussed this thing, that bond is basically a security, is basically a certificate. In this certificate, it is an agreement between two parties, between the borrower and the lender, basically. In this bond agreement, three things are very important. This is called face value or maturity value. This percentage, this is called coupon, the interest payment. And this is called maturity. This bond is basically an agreement between the person who is lending money and the person who is borrowing money. So we already discussed about this. I'm not going in detail of this thing. Now in this bond there are some concepts. One is market value and one is intrinsic value. Market value represents the market price at which an asset trades. The price in the market on which it is trading. Suppose today its price is 1050. Suppose on this 1050 price somebody purchased it and somebody sold it. So that will be called market value. Then there is another concept that is called intrinsic value. It represents the price a security must to have based on all factors bearing on valuation. This is basically the calculated value. The calculated value of a bond that the bond must to have. The values that we will calculate in bond valuation, it is basically intrinsic value. Later on I will go in detail of this thing. So what is a bond? A bond is a long-term debt instrument issued by a corporation or government. A bond, mostly it is a debt instrument, it is a debt agreement, and mostly corporations, big companies who are in need of money, they are going to issue a bond. And governments, they are also issuing a bond. We call it treasury bond. Keep in mind one thing, that one is treasury bill. Treasury bill, its maturity is less than 1 year. But treasury bond, its maturity is more than 1 year. Sometimes government is in need of money, so they are issuing treasury bond and they are receiving money. The maturity value or face value of a bond is the stated value, the value which is written on the face of the bond, this. is the stated value. In case of US bond, the face value is usually $1,000. Most of the US bonds, their maturity value or their face value, it is $1,000. The bond's coupon rate is the stated rate of interest, the annual interest payment divided by the bond's face value. Basically, why he's saying the annual interest payment divided by the bond's face value. Now see, this is the face value, 1,000. And suppose this bond after 1 year is paying $80 interest. So 100 divided by, listen, see what is he saying? Stated the annual interest payment divided by the bond's value. Sorry, it is 80 divided by 1,000. This is the annual interest payment and this is the bond's face value. So see, this will be cancel out. So 8 divided by 100, it will become 8%. So this 8%, this is basically called the coupon rate. The discount rate, capitalization rate, is dependent on the risk of the bond and is composed of the risk-free rate plus a premium for risk. The discount rate. What is the discount rate? Discount rate, if you people remind, we discussed about one thing. If you people remind, CAPM, CAPM model. It depends on that CAPM model. Discount rate or capitalization rate is dependent on the risk of the bond. If a bond is risky, so the discount rate or capitalization rate, it will be high and is composed of risk-free rate plus a premium. Few people remind, we discussed about this, RF plus here is risk premium, RP, and which is equal to RF plus, this is basically risk premium. If bond is more risky, you will get more risk premium, and if the bond is less risky, you will get less risk premium. We discussed about all these things in CAPM model. Just go and review that CAPM model. You will get the answers if you people are confused. This is basically this factor. One is risk-free rate and this factor, this is called risk premium. RM minus RF into beta. Okay, look at this, RF plus beta RM minus RF. So So this is basically this capitalization rate. This is basically the CAPM rate. So capitalization rate or discount rate, it is basically the CAPM rate. Now there are different types of bonds, and the first one, it is perpetual bond. A perpetual bond is a bond that never matures, means it has an infinite life. See here, we discussed that bond has maturity, but there are some bonds which don't have any maturity. So if the bond has no maturity, it is for an infinite life, that bond is called perpetual bond. This maturity factor, it is not present. So that type of bond, it is called perpetual bond, a bond that never matures, or a bond that has an infinite life. Keep in mind, for calculating the value of a bond, we are using present value concepts. And you know about the present value concept. P naught or PV is equal to future value divided by 1 plus I raised to the power n. This is basically the formula for calculating the present value. Now, our bond 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on, it is going. Now keep in mind, in our case, the face value of a bond, it was 1000, and it was paying 8% interest, and there is no maturity. This was our bond. Suppose this is our perpetual bond. 1000 is the face value, 8% is the coupon. So means after 1 year they will pay us $80 interest. 80 and 80. Keep in mind, this thing is very important, so just concentrate on this thing. So this is so on, so this is going. Now see, when we want to calculate value of a bond, today's value, so what will we do? We will calculate the present value of this 80, then we will calculate present value of this 80, then we will calculate present value of this 80, this 80, this 80, and all the values. Suppose this bond was issued before 5 years, and now suppose this was issued in 2014. So 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 and 19. This is 2019. And now we want to calculate the value of this bond. So what will we do? We will calculate the present value of all its cash flow. This is the cash flow from the bond. 80, 80, 80, 80, 80. These are the cash flows of the bond. This bond will give these cash flows. Means the person who is holding this bond, they will receive this cash flow. Means they will receive this, you can say profit, or you can say return on this bond. Now, so this is the first value. So what? Future value. So we call it V1. So what will we do? This 80, this is basically interest I divided by 1 plus KD raised to the power, number of years are 1, because we will discount it 1 year, this 1 year. Then we will calculate the value V2, this 80. We will calculate its present value. So I 1 plus KD. I'm using this formula. Future value, so future value is basically interest, and 1 plus I, so here interest is basically the discount rate. And you know the discount rate, it depends on the CAPM rate. KD raised to the power 2. So similarly V3 I divided by 1 plus KD raised to the power 3, and so on. 4th year, 5th year, 6th year, and so on. But we need one value. We need the value of the whole bond. These are basically individual values of these yearly payments. So what will we do? We will add all these. So on. So what will be the value of bond? I divided by 1 plus KD power 1 plus I divided by 1 plus KD power 2 plus I divided by 1 plus KD power 3, and so on. So see now. Value of a bond is equal to I divided by 1 plus KD power 1 plus I divided by 1 plus KD power 2 plus so on, and the last one I divided by 1 plus KD power infinity. This is the reduced form. This is basically the table formula. Leave this, we are not going to use this, so leave this. This is basically the reduced form of this formula, the simple formula for calculating the value of the bond. V is equal to I divided by KD. You will use this formula, we will use this formula to calculate the value of the bond. So V is equal to I divided by KD. So keep this thing in mind. So here is an example. Bond P has a $1,000 face value and provides an 8% coupon. Bond is providing 8% coupon. The discount rate is 10%. See, this CAPM rate, it is given, the discount rate. What is the value of the perpetual bond? So we will calculate this. Now, what is the formula? V is equal to I divided by KD. Now see, in our formula, the coupon rate is given. I, which is equal to 8%. Rate, coupon rate. face value is given, which is 1000, then discount rate KD, it is given, it is 10%. So this thing is given, KD. I, we will calculate I. This I, it is not given. I is not known. And the next thing is face value. It is equal to 1000. So first we will calculate the interest that this bond is paying, the amount of interest. We are going to calculate the amount of interest. So 1000 is the face value and 8% is the interest rate. So on this, when we will calculate this, so we will get 80. So mean this bond is paying $80 interest. So this is also calculated. So just put these values in this formula. I, interest is 80, discount rate is 10%. So 80 divided by 0.10, 10% is equal to 0.10. So we will get $800. Means what is the intrinsic value? This calculated value, this is called intrinsic value basically. Now what is the intrinsic value of this bond? It is $800. So if you want to purchase this perpetual bond, purchase it at $800. Above $800, so you will be in loss. Below $800, you will be in profit. Suppose this is intrinsic value. This is intrinsic value. Suppose in the market, its value is $900. So the calculated value is 800 and the market value is 900. Don't purchase this bond. Why? It is expensive. Now, intrinsic value is 800, but someone is going to sell it in the market, its price is 750. Purchase it. Why? It is cheap. In the future, after some time, its value will go up. So this intrinsic value and market value, this is giving the concept whether to purchase the bond or not. It will make your decision easy. This is intrinsic value 800. This is market value. So basically the actual value is $800, but in the market they are selling it for 750. So it is good to purchase it. After some time, this bond will again reach to this level and you will be in profits. Okay, I think for today it is enough. Inshallah, in the next class then we will talk about the other types of bonds. Inshallah. So okay, have a good time. Assalamu alaikum.